and pretty
I
soon.
have goosebumps. This is a powerful, not just a powerful film, powerful personality, but thank you for making this amazing, powerful film. Thank you for your grace. Thank you for your talent. Just, just I'm a fanboy. That's what I can say. When I called Nick and I was like, I'll just watch it, and then he's here doing this.
Well,
This.
it grows on you and you appreciate it more even when you hear you talk. So I'm glad people will watch this.
Hi guys, my name is Tushar Tyagi. I'm the founder of Yellowstone International Film Festival. Today, I have the honor of having two exceptionally talented filmmakers with me. Nicholas Eliopoulos, two-time Emmy-winning filmmaker with extensive credits as editor and filmmaker, and we have Reema Maya, wonderful filmmaker whose film Nocturnal Burger is making waves worldwide. Thank you guys for taking time out and joining me here on this panel. Nick, as I understand, you have had a chance of watching film more than a couple of times. What are your thoughts?
Well, Reema, you're such a talented filmmaker. I'm so happy to have seen your film. And I hear it's being played all over the world as well as premiered at Sundance. So that's fantastic that they helped you get it made. And I understood that some of the story was autobiographical. Can you tell us a little bit about your participation with the storyline?
Yes, the inciting incident that propels the film into motion is inspired from a true incident that happened a couple of years ago when I was coming back home and there was a rickshaw next to us. And at first I thought it was just like a couple in the back making out or something, so I didn't pay it any attention. And then it happened to pass by again, and I realized that it's not a couple, it's a kid with a man, and she's just, really frozen with fear in one corner. And in that split second, I had to decide if I did actually see what I saw and what I need to do about it. So immediately I said, okay, we need to stop that rickshaw. And then we kind of stopped in front of it. And I took the girl, my mom was with me, a couple of other people were there. They grabbed the guy who was completely unfazed, by the way. It did not look like he was not afraid. It did not look like it was the first time he was doing something like this. That was the scariest thing about it. And thankfully, we were close to a police station, so we managed to take them there. And then, everything that happened followed. The film, of course, is heavily fictionalized, but I remember going back home from that night and just crying and crying and crying. And it was the kind of crying that came out of, I think, years of experiencing and witnessing and hearing about people going through instances of child sexual abuse and never getting any sense of justice. And I felt like this one night, this little girl saw a small micro version of society intervene, save her, tell her it's not her fault, and demonstrate a very, very small, nascent form, but instant justice, nevertheless.
That's so beautiful, your courage in that instant. And how many years later did you actually face that experience and put it to a screenplay, put it into
So
writing?
it was one of those things where like it cut you so deeply that you don't like I don't even talk about it. I didn't like tell my friends. I never verbalized it. And later when I was asked, hey, is there a short film that you'd like to make? This is the only thing that came to mind. It was just like I just need to make this, it needs to come out. And I also think the reason was because of what it stands for, right? It stands for a very simple message that if you see something happening, intervene and stop
Mm.
it because you don't know how much worse it'll get without your intervention. And even when we were talking to NGOs about who've been working with CSA, they said apart from very long-term, big picture conversations, the only thing that can help immediately is, community intervention.
Well, I was very impressed with the young girl that you chose to act the role. Had she had experience before, or was she a newcomer? Tell me about her as an actress.
She, I found her under my aunt's building. She's a lovely little girl. She and her family had like recently moved to Bombay, to Mumbai from their village. And yeah, I just like my independent filmmaking is always a friends and family operation, and everyone's on the lookout for, who's going to be a part of the film. And the moment I saw her, she was it. Like she was just the one.
Yes,
So
and the woman who the actress who plays your role, your experience was quite good. She was very good, and I thought for a minute that she was Asian, but Tushar told me there's a lot of Indian people that have eyes like that, and so I was kind of
yes,
curious about that.
that character is played by a really wonderful actor called Milo Sunka. She's from the state of Arunachal Pradesh in Northeast India, and what's interesting is that here there's actually not enough conversation about how there's very, very less representation for actors from Northeast India or films and stories from there in general, in the sort of the mainland cinematic discourse. And but for me it was, I don't know, she was the first one. I think she was the only one I had in mind while I was writing. And she was just very kind to help us with this and be a part of this project and work really hard for it.
Well,
But there is a theme of sorry.
she's very good in it, but I wanted to ask you, there's a few shots of her as a much younger actress. Where did that footage come from? Was it
We
hers?
found we found a kid that had a striking resemblance to her.
No, that was a
Yeah.
different actor. I swore it was her. I said, where did they get that footage?
And what's crazy is even when Milo met the younger version of her on set, she was shocked. She was just like, I don't know how you guys did it. She looks exactly like I looked when I was a kid.
Wow, that's filmmaking. Congratulations. That's great.
Some castings are pre-done in the universe, and so it's the people just are always meant to be a part of that character, and you just find different ways to reach them.
Well, there's other young people, children in the movie. How was it working with them? They look very natural. Can you tell us a
So
little bit?
yes, I mean they're all completely non-actors, but very bright, intelligent young women, and a baby who was doing everything perfectly on cue. But the little girls, oh my God, this was the first time any of them had faced the camera, but they were so self-assured, and I feel like they were some of the most professional actors I have worked with, because these are just bright, intelligent young women who were like, "What do you want, Reema?" They would call me Reema Didi, which means older sister in Hindi. So they say, "What do you want, Reema Didi?" Like, don't tell us, don't talk to us like kids. Just tell us, look like this, do like this, and we'll do it. And they didn't care about anything. They didn't want to get distracted by, they didn't want to rest, they didn't want to eat, they just wanted to be on set and be on. Like I'm in awe of them. Yeah.
Well, I may have made a mistake or not, but the perpetrator against the young girl, you have a scene where he just cries on
Yeah.
screen. Is that correct? And
Yes.
where did that come from? Did the actual perpetrator in the incident do that, or was that something you added?
um I mean, the actual perpetrator, of course, didn't I mean, I didn't face him so much because he was taken away, thankfully. But in this particular case, I think that scene was important because um, I we wanted to lay out the film in a way that the audience is an active participant in it, as it's our experience of life, right? Where you have to sort of judge and put together the pieces and understand whether or not you want to believe somebody. So it really is a moment where we allow the audience to think about whether or not they believe if his tears are genuine or if he's putting up an act. Yeah.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Rima,
Well,
I have one question for you, rather a couple of them. I'm just gonna pitch in. So I just wanted to know. I see the depth that you have developed these characters with, and with every character, you have you have represented the minorities in India. And I want to talk about the scene where we see transgender, which is a very lived experience that a trans community is marginalized. And then, like you spoke, actors from Northeast are marginalized, and I really like that with especially with female characters, they have an over. Obviously, there's a suppression. The whole film talks about women rights, but also it talks about different women in different positions, but still having that issue, the suppression, like the the constable getting phone from home. Like, talk to me about where this comes from, because the character development is so viscous.
Um, it comes from life, to be honest. It comes from several micro observations, several years of lived experiences. Um, the let's talk about the group of trans women in the film. I mean, so much love and gratitude to Vicky Shinde, who played the person sitting in the center, and her group. They came and they were just so incredible to have. But when I was writing the film, I think it wasn't that I want to show all the communities. It was really, how do you talk about abuse and in a film that is set in a police station, and not talk about the abuse that the trans community, especially the Hijra community, suffer, especially from the hands of the people who are supposed to be protecting them. You can't not acknowledge that. And so it was really important to have them there, and also to write it in a way that they have the agency, even in that very warped power dynamic. So it was, yeah, that was, I think, extremely important to the themes that we were exploring. And I'm so happy that, I didn't know if people would understand that unsaid moment between Minu and the trans women, but I'm really happy that that seems to have universal resonance. That, without saying a word, if you've gone through similar experiences, you're just going to have this telepathic thread of empathy join you.
Wow,
Uh,
great.
and
Well, I read in I read in the Variety magazine that your film has been, oh gosh, over 50 festivals and won 34 awards. And besides premiering at Sundance, what were some of your favorite festivals that you took it to?
Yes. Oh my God. Yeah, it's been such an incredible journey. We weren't able to go to as many festivals like personally as we would have liked to, because, independent short, you're going to spend more than you spent making the film. Um, but Sundance is always extremely special. It feels like home. My last short film premiered there as well. So we
Oh,
feel very grateful for their support. I feel like they really helped change the course of my life. Um, Apart from that, we went to Ceminti, which is one of Spain's oldest film. It is Spain's oldest film festival, and we won Best International Short in the Meet and Point section there. And they
excellent.
brought us back, and we walked their green carpet. It was very glamorous and really special. And then there was a really small festival in the Northeast. It's called Kelvin Cinema Festival. It happens in Shillong. It was only their second year. It's run by a group of very passionate independent filmmakers from Shillong. And it was the first time we were playing the film in Northeast India, which is where Milo is from. And oh my God, the love that we got from the film community there was so incredible. And we won like best editing, but we also, like, Milo won best actress at that
Oh,
festival, which I think meant a
oh,
lot.
great. That's great. Terrific. What are some of your plans for the future? In your next film, perhaps? Have you started yet?
Yes, there's always many things happening simultaneously. Um, I'm directing a series, so there's work happening there. I'm attached to direct a feature film, so there's work happening there. I'm doing a couple of advertising campaigns, which is what I also do. But honestly, there's just this, for the last couple of months, there's like this bug in your head for this new idea. and this film that you really want to make, I think my mind has been infested. And there is this one film that I really need to write and get made. So I think that's the next thing I'm gonna get onto. But
Yeah.
before that, it's also like I feel like still have a lot of responsibilities to Nocturnal Burger to fulfill, apart from the Academy campaign, which we're getting so much love and support for. We want to do a lot of impact screenings. We want to start sharing the film with NGOs and take it on ground and see how it can be used as a tool for conversation, with families, with kids, with institutions, and see if it can play even the smallest role in making a difference.
Well, that's great. I wish you all the luck with the Academy submission, and we'll hear in a week or so, So,
Oof.
Before we wrap up, Reema, I have one last question, and this one is very close to my heart. We have a lot of women filmmakers in India, and across the world, they are not represented as much as they should be. And especially in India, the conditions are very different. So, as a talented and fierce filmmaker, what would you advise upcoming women filmmakers? What would your be one advice?
I mean, there's not enough of us at all. Um, my one big advice would be it's two advices. Okay. One is to the families, and that advice is let your girls get out. You know, being in the film industry, it's grueling. It is late night hours. You have to do whatever it takes to make the film happen, and it's a lot of hard work. It's a lot of craft. So please allow your daughter, like, see the spark in them. Allow your daughters to actually go out and pursue that journey, starting very early, for them to even have a fighting chance. This means letting them intern, letting them do college festivals, things like that. Because if they don't get that sort of a heads up, they're not going to be able to run the race. And for the girls, considering the environment we're in, we have no choice but to be really good at what we do. We have to be really, really good at what we do. So people don't have a choice. They have like no choice but to give us an opportunity, but to hire us, but to watch our work, but to support us. And not just because we're women, but because we're just that good. So you have an extra responsibility. You cannot be average. You cannot be mediocre. You have to be exceptional.
and pretty
I
soon.
have goosebumps. This is a powerful, not just a powerful film, powerful personality, but thank you for making this amazing, powerful film. Thank you for your grace. Thank you for your talent. Just, just I'm a fanboy. That's what I can say. When I called Nick and I was like, I'll just watch it, and then he's here doing this.
Well,
This.
it grows on you and you appreciate it more even when you hear you talk. So I'm glad people will watch this because I also noticed that the perpetrator guy that you cast was fairly good looking. And usually the people that do child molestations are ogres and they're icky and you hate them right off. And I thought it was very interesting when he cries because I really felt for him. And that's an interesting take to examine in your mind.
I also feel like because in films, we cast a certain look, or traditionally people cast a certain look like, oh, this person is a hero and this person is a villain. But in
Yeah.
life, that's not what it's like. And
Mhm.
so, especially when people who are supposed to look like heroes are doing villainous things, it can get very confusing to experience.
Yeah.
And I think that, and a lot of people who do tend to be abusive are very charming because that's one of
Um,
their weapons.
I
They are
see. Yeah.
extremely good emotional manipulators. I mean, this guy has been capitalizing on the fact that anywhere you see, since you're a child, there are only two big dreams, right, that you are sold. One is this big capitalistic dream, so the neon hoardings of these big juicy burgers and all of those things, and the other dream is of ultimate romance. I mean, how young are we when we are being told that the only thing that's going to make your life meaningful is if someone loves you? And so when a child that is so deprived of love and nurture in their own house, that don't have a safe environment, that has been forced to feel like they're a grown up, what happens when when a person like this can weaponize that feeling simply by using charm and other grooming techniques? So
Yeah.
that's kind of
And
Interesting.
I
Yeah.
also want to tell you one thing, Nick, Reema would know. And one heartbreaking thing in India, especially for women, is that, it it's not your fault. Like, it's not girl's fault that she got lured in for burger, because obviously otherwise she wouldn't have access to burger. Her family cannot even afford burger, like you were talking about. Burger, a burger is an expensive thing for people of lower middle class or who are living below the poverty line. But the girls are the one who have to suffer at the end. It's her fault that she got into that situation, so her education completely stopped, and that is a very lived experience. So many times it's not girls fault, but their education, their clothing, their privileges are taken. It's just so heartbreaking here. It's very different from states.
yep.
Wow. Thank you so much, Reema and Nicholas, for taking time out and talking to us for this brilliant film, Nocturnal Burger. Reema, we here at Yellowstone International Film Festival wish you all the best and all the luck. Keep making powerful films, and thank you for making Nocturnal Burger. Thanks.
Yes. Thank
Thank you,
you.
Tushar, and thank you, Nick. I
And
really appreciate this.
congratulations to you. Yes.